Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cars and Engineering. In today's episode, as you can see, it's kind of a sort of unboxing, what's to come, sort of preview for the following months. So yeah, basically it's going to be unboxing this, telling you what it is, telling you what the plan is, and going from there. So stay tuned. Now, as you can see, there's a fair few boxes here, like little packages, boxes from Dark Side. We've got stuff from Corrosion Motorsport. I've got a Quave differential here. There's stuff from Big Red, which are a brake caliper company. You can probably see the Hale performance lines there. So basically, as I said in the intro, this video is purely to sort of give you guys an update of what I've been doing behind the scenes, what's coming up, and what to expect in the next few months on the actual channel itself. I think I've showed you a few of these things before, like these coolant flanges, or these coolant aluminium coolant hoses upgraded. This is a little video I'm going to do. I bought these from Corrosion Motorsport. I think they're about 50 quid or £50 like UK money. Not sure what they'd be in American or anything like that, but these basically look like a set that's sold on eBay for I think £20 delivered. So they're uprated from the plastic, so I'll get some more O-rings for them. I'm not sure it comes with them, but this is one of the things that'll be going on the new engine when that actually gets moving again. I've had a few hold-ups with the machine of the head, things like that. I'll probably just buy a new head at this point. I think the old ones had it, and I've been waiting for the machine shop for like 18 months, nearly 2 years now, because they were going to do it for me for a favour, but also hasn't come about. Anyway, so these will be going on the new engine, which will be going in the Polo eventually. Hopefully over winter I can get the stuff together for that build. It's been delay after delay recently. Started a new job, so I've been putting sort of a lot of effort into that. Now I'm pretty well established with that job, and it's pretty stable. I can now put a lot more time into the YouTube. As you can see, there's a very big selection of parts that have sort of occurred or accumulated. These are just some of them. I've got another garage, this is my second garage, full of tools, full of all my parts or things like that. This is just probably 1/3 of it or a quarter of it. There's a lot more to go. But anyway, as I was saying, these are the uprated aluminium coolant pipes. I believe I showed them before, or if not, it'll be coming up in another video. I'm gonna just order another set of the other ones to see what the quality is like, so that people aren't wasting 30 quid of their money buying them from other companies, and then when they're on eBay for 20 quid. So that's one of them. Second one here, I think I've showed it before. This is Corrosion Motorsport again. This is a short shifter for the Polo. It's got a pretty short shift anyway, but I'm going to try that out. I've heard good things, I've heard bad things about this, so we will go from there. So that'll be another video in itself. Now I'm going to move on to the sort of smaller items first. Obviously you can see there's a Quave differential there. It's a limited slip diff. It is technically an ATB, which is an automatic torque biasing differential. So if one wheel slips, it will give the power to the wheel with the grip and pull you around that way. I will be ordering a wave track as well, because I've got 2 spare gearboxes. So the goal is to put this in the gearbox, do a couple of laps of Brands or Linden Hill or wherever I can get some sort of timed laps in, remove that gearbox, come back at a later date and put the wave track gearbox in, and then go from there. Then I can do a comparison between the two to let you know obviously which one's faster or which one I prefer, and we can go from there. It's a little bit of like consumer advice maybe, probably not that much consumer advice, but it's a very niche vehicle, the 1.8 turbo 20 valve Polo 9F3, but Quave diffs or a limited slip diff in general makes a hell of a difference to power. That's not exactly needed right now because this is running standard power with 150 horsepower, but when it's really matte and it has things like that and a bigger turbo and there's a bigger torque curve and there's more boost coming in lower down and things like that, depends on the tuning. It depends on the tuning. A diff, not just this diff. Obviously there are other manufacturers out there, whether they're better or worse I don't know, that's yet to be decided. We can go from there, we can obviously go through it together, but just sort of a little bit of R&D really, to sort of see how much better a diff is in a vehicle with no power and a lot more power. So I can do some tests. Obviously if I've got 2 spare gearboxes, I've got 1 in the vehicle, it's 3 overall. I'm going to leave 1 with an open diff, 1 with a Quave and 1 with a wave track or perhaps a different one, and go from there. So yeah, that's the Quave differential. here we have some Hammerite paint, some clear lacquer. That is for the Porsche 986 caliper rebuild. There's some other little bits and bobs for the Porsche caliper rebuild, but they are 310mm discs, I think. Right, so something else I have for the Porsche is a new seal and boot kit, but also I have a new piston kit as well for the calipers. I think they're 46 and 36, I'm not sure, or 43, 36, something like that. Basically they go in the caliper, they're 4 pots, so there's 4 cylinders, or 4 pistons times 2, full rebuild kit. I've got grease in there, I've got nipple covers, I've got new chrome nipples as well, so that'll be part of the rebuild series. With the Porsche calipers as well, because they obviously didn't come standard on the Polo, I've got rear braided brake lines. That is for a Audi TT or an Audi 256mm rear vented setup. That's one of the parts I don't have here, but that'll be going on as well, so that's another video. So make sure you subscribe. I think it's down here or up here or anywhere you can get it. So you've got some flare nut spanners as well. Right, so the main thing that we need, what I need, is these. These are Mark 4 Polo, Mark 4 Golf to Porsche brake caliper brake lines. They're like an adapter, they're braided, they're from Hell. Just gonna cover my address and no one knows where I live. But you can see here, Volkswagen Polo Mark 4 1A GTI 2006, well, that's for the rears. This is the front one. Again, all of these are going to be needed for the brake overhaul, including that, including this, including the actual spanners themselves, so they can go in there as well. Right, put them to one side. So we have some few things here also. I have a Bartec oil, well, temperature gauge sensor with an adapter. So basically what happens is, this adapter goes into where the sump plug would go. And then you get your temperature probe. Which then threads up the middle of the adapter and sits there. Sits inside it because it's hollow. Now this will give you a oil temperature reading from inside the sump itself. I'm not too hot on leaving or losing the magnetic sump plug, so what I might do is I might tap a hole in for that size, silicone it in so it's actually inside the actual sump itself. So I'll have that, and then for argument's sake, say this is a magnetic sump plug, they'll be next to each other like that, so I'll be getting a reading of the oil temperature from the sump, and also the magnet will be there sucking any crap out of the oil. So that's that. Comes with like a little LED light up display, which is pretty easy to install. A few cables, so not too much trouble. Also got an extension for the actual sensor itself, so you can run it from underneath the engine or somewhere in the engine bay, so inside the actual vehicle. So we'll get that away, then we'll go into the next one. Now I have been told as well that these temperature sensors don't just do oil, so they do temperature. So I was thinking about finding like a nice chunky bit of metal on these new adapters. Now I know that the factory one, or the factory temperature sensor, sits in there. Now they're going to need some clean up because there's some like casting sort of marks left over. If I can find a nice chunky bit of metal, perhaps like up here somewhere, to drill a hole, tap a hole, so that will be sort of sitting inside the pipe like that. So I'll have a live data temperature sensor as well as the actual factory one that turns the switch on, things like that. I'm also looking at doing a fan override switch, so that if this is ever being caned really heavily with the new engine or anything like that, you can override fan, turn the fan on and provide cooling for the engine sooner so it doesn't get anywhere near overheating. Yeah, that's a good idea. Then I have live data with oil, live data with water or coolant. Right, so our next box is from Dark Side. There's a tyre tread depth gauge. Just had that laying around for some reason, it's in there. These are my bolts. Now these are well, no, these are not from Dark Side. These are my hub-centric wheel spacers for the Polo. Now, if anyone knows, or if anyone's ever done a brake caliper upgrade, you need these, especially for Polo, the big old calipers to clear the actual wheel itself. These are, if I remember rightly, I think 12 mil. No, sorry, 15mm spacers. Now, with spacers, you can choose to have a longer wheel bolt, which will need a 15mm long wheel bolt from factory. So it's a factory length plus 15mm, which are good, but as soon as you take it out, these are going to either, well, they should sit on the hub, but they could come with the wheel as well. So what I've done is I've bought a stud and nut conversion kit as well. So basically, the stud will be on the hub, that will fit onto the stub, or the stud itself, and then the nut will on top. So it will be hub, spacer, wheel, nut. So that will be in an upcoming video. These need to be done because otherwise the Porsche calipers, as I've said, will not clear the wheels, factory or otherwise. I believe you can sort of get an offset or anything like that to clear them eventually, but I think these are like 50 quid, whereas at the moment a set of wheels is probably about 600 quid. So they will be on the horizon, some ultralight racing wheels, but right now space is needed to actually fit the Porsche calipers themselves. So they can go back in there. Right, so these big M12s that come out of the previous box are for what's in this box. And there's a fair amount to get through in this one. This one is the actual Dark Side box. So I have to get that out of the way, just packaging. Right, so this is a battery relocation kit. There's your negative wire, there's your positive wire, all everything you need. There's some convoluted tubing, there's a two-way adapter, also got a three-way adapter depending on what I need. That one's there, so you can combine them all into one. This is to reload the battery into the spare wheel well, because there's no spare wheel in this vehicle, which is also needed because you can't really fit front mount setup on these cars without like getting rid of the battery. You probably could, but it'd be an absolute pain in the arse. So I'm going to be getting rid of the battery, putting it in the boot. I'm also going to be installing like a little solar panel into the actual parcel shelf, so that if it ever goes dead, you can shine a torch to the solar panel, try and sort of get some juice into the vehicle to actually unlock it. Another little trick for that is you can jack these vehicles up, provide a positive to the starter motor live, and just clamp a negative like dump pack onto the new air metal on the engine, and it should let you into the vehicle. The alarm will probably go off, but it'll let you in. So yeah, you've got heat shrink in here, cable ties, your tubing, you've got your negative terminals, you've got P-clips, you've got everything. And there's also a inline fuse included as well, which is very important. So that'll be yes another video. Put that over there, including the three-way adapter. Right, so again, with the Porsche brakes, we need some sort of upgraded pad. Now these are Brembo Sport HP 2000 brake pads. I chose these. These are the fast road pad, like that. See, 2 per caliper, 4 pot. So that provides a lot more braking pressure. You've got like a little card to say they're actually legit from Brembo. So yeah, these are fast road pads, not track orientated pads just yet. I didn't want them to be too grippy because I've heard people have had like lock up with these vehicles because they're quite light. I don't have too much braking power just yet. If I upgrade, obviously the engine's upgraded, bigger turbo, things like that. If I feel that the pads can't keep up, I then have a route to then upgrade them. Whereas obviously I could have gone straight for the track orientated pad, but at the moment, I don't think this is fast enough to get the heat into them. I don't think it's quite ready for a complete track orientated pad. Maybe if it's roll caged out and it completely weighs absolutely nothing, maybe in the near future, but again, it's another avenue for an upgrade. Also, I think these are about 140 quid. I think the track ones are about 250 quid. So at the moment, that's all I need. Again, I could have done, there'll probably be people saying, oh, you should have done that straight away, but at the moment, I think this is probably the best route. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll find out. But anyway, on to the next one. So sort of getting near the end now. Again, these are for the Porsche. These are Porsche adapters, or these adapt the hub. So they go on the back of the hub. The Porsche brakes go onto this. So yeah, another one for the Porsche brakes. It is quite expensive setup. I think all in all it's about £600 to rebuild them, get them, brake lines, brake fluid, things like that. So then I've got part feeds to cover. Now going on to brake fluid. These are also from Dark Side. The brake fluid I've chosen to go with for the Porsche brakes. It is a racing brake fluid, I believe. I've heard good things about it for some rallycross friends that I have. Right, so it's some racing brake fluid RBF660 factory line .4 motorable. It has a dry boiling point of 325 degrees, has a wet boiling point of 205 degrees, which is 617 Fahrenheit for the Americans and 401 degrees Fahrenheit for the Americans also. Yeah, so I got a litre and a half of that, which should be plenty to flush it. I'm going to flush it through with any sort of some just standard Brembo stuff straight away, and then put this in, just to get rid of the old stuff. So I've got this completely fresh system. So yeah, other than that, that is pretty much everything. Obviously that's not everything that's coming up. There's other things like I said about the Audi TT rear upgraded, or the 256mm rear upgraded discs on the rear of the Polo. Whether that will be in time for an upcoming track day that I have, I don't know. But what it will do is it will give me a good baseline. So at the moment there's factory pads, or Brembo pads, factory calipers on it that aren't particularly good. I've got a track evening coming up at Brands Hatch, so that'll give me a good baseline for where the car is currently at. And then what will happen is when everything gets put onto the vehicle, barring like the diff, things like that, when the brakes are on and it's upgraded, maybe even a little bit tuned up, as I said, it's still running 150 horsepower, so it's still a standard engine. We have the oversized turbo intake pipe, things like that, but none of it really increases horsepower without a remap. So a remap is on the horizon as well. Obviously got the engine project still in the background. There's been numerous delays of that. Again, I've not been around because I've got a new job as well, which I'm settled in, things like that. But the new job as well will help with the channel. It is obviously a automotive based job, so there's a lot of knowledge that I'm learning from that, which I can then pass on to people on the channel. So I'm going to stop rambling on. I'm going to let you continue with your day. Thank you very much for watching. As always, it's good to be back. It's good to be back on YouTube itself, seeing everyone or interacting with everyone again. As always, please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.